Good evening, and welcome once again to another edition of the Shadow Gallery. I am, as always, your humble host, James Donnelly. And check your watch. You know what time it is. It's time for, drumroll please, new comics, bitches! Okay, so I thought about, just a brief note, I did think about changing up my format a little bit to do actually individual videos for individual comics, but I figured, nah, fuck it. I like doing it this way better, because that way you can kind of get a little bit of the full idea of what I'm reading, what I'm liking, what I'm not liking, instead of just kind of skipping to the ones that you're interested in. So, I've got you now. Anywho, so let's jump right into it, okay? So, we're going to deal with, we're going to deal with Flashpoint first, and some of the tie-ins that I have. So, let's kick that off. Some of these I don't have because I didn't buy them. I borrowed them from one of my friends. But, as always, took notes. Night of Gotham, #1, by Eduardo Rizzo and Brian Azzarello. The very potent creative team behind 100 Bullets, which I read the first maybe 12, 13 issues or so of it a long time ago. And not that I lost, well, yeah, I lost interest. Let's just put it that way. I thought it was cool, but I just felt like, okay, well, it's kind of going somewhere and it's kind of not. But anyway. I've always really admired Eduardo Rizzo's art. Thought he was really good. Brian Azzarello, as a writer, he's one of those guys that's never really done a whole lot for me. So that's just me. It's a personal taste, I guess. So, but as was revealed, okay, in the first issue of Flashpoint, obviously Bruce Wayne is not Batman in the Flashpoint world. It is Thomas Wayne. So it was, obviously Martha Wayne and Bruce Wayne that were killed in the mugging, and not, so it was, wife and son as opposed to father and mother. So one could see how that could be maybe even more traumatic to someone. Which might explain as to why this Batman is a lot more brutal than his predecessors, or his Earth One person, whatever you'd call it in DC now, the regular DC universe. So Thomas Wayne, it opens up. He's getting like a psych evaluation so that he can get insurance. Whatever. It's kind of a weird scene. It seems just kind of like thrown in to explain, okay, well, this guy is he's a guy who's really pissed off, like, all the time. And then he's seen with Oswald Cobblepot, who is not the Penguin in this universe, but still seems to be a criminal. From my take on it, and this may be way off, but my take on it seems to be that Thomas Wayne is trying to consolidate organized crime in a way, kind of run it himself so that maybe he can destroy it from within, or just control it so that it doesn't spill out onto the streets, type of thing, so that more people, I don't know. Again, it seems like a really short issue. But, obviously part of the fun is finding out what is going on. And then there's a meeting, apparently, and also, as was explained in Flashpoint #1, the Joker has kidnapped Judge Harvey Dent's twin children, twin kids, And he's still Harvey Dent, obviously not Two-Face. And there's discussion between Thomas and Jim Gordon, who it's really not clear whether he's the chief, whether he's commissioner of police, or whether or not he is actually part of this privatized security force that is helping to enforce enforce crime. So again, there's a lot of confusing elements here, and it makes for a kind of incoherent read, because it's one of those things that it feels like, okay, we're expected to just kind of know a lot of these things, and this is only a 3-issue series too, so I mean it's really going to be confusing. But anyway, Hush, for example, they talk about Hush and Scarecrow and Poison Ivy all being dead because Batman killed them. Anyway, so then we kind of go forward, we proceed along to Batman, and Jim Gordon knows that Thomas Wayne is Batman. He is patrolling the sewers in order to find, some sign of the Joker. Some rumors that people have heard on the street level about where Joker might be hiding them or keeping them. And he runs into, of all people, Killer Croc, who seems to be, again, doing the whole kind of eating human beings thing. It's weird because in some ways he is kind of a cannibal, and in some ways he's not. It's weird. I don't really know, where all the different interpretations kind of come from. But anyway, so he fights him, kills him. Batman just sticks, like a machete right through his head. So that's the end of Killer Croc. And then there's just a little flash of the Joker. Now, again, Eduardo Rizzo's art is great. It's fantastic in this issue. But again, the whole Azarella thing is just bothering me. Like I said, it just the whole book just seems really kind of thrown together. Like they just it's like they asked them, okay, sit down and just write a really fucked up Flashpoint Batman series, and that's just what it seems like. It seems like they just really just sat down and just, okay, here's an idea, here's an idea, here's an idea, as opposed to having really laid groundwork for these characters. So that bothered me. So I wouldn't really recommend this issue. I mean, it's interesting to find out what's going on. How this particular Batman incarnation, what makes him tick, but ultimately, it's just the story is just is too disappointing. So I no longer really care about what goes on outside of the main Flashpoint series. This was really kind of the litmus test, the few issues that came out this week. Another one that I got was ABIN SUR, the Green Lantern. Obviously ABIN SUR, the original guy who gave Hal Jordan the ring. In this universe, he is still very much alive. He is, he's been taught that all life is very precious. This also it had a cool moment or two, but ultimately it was just disappointing. His whole planet has been destroyed. I don't, in the whole realm of Green Lantern mythology, I don't really know that much about ABIN SUR. That's my bad. So that's where some of this kind of loses me. I don't know if his homeworld was destroyed, whatever. But he's very intent upon the belief that all life is precious. He refuses to let anybody die if he can help it. So that brings him into conflict with the Manhunters. Again, not really up in the Manhunters mythology. So but you know, Necron, of course, is part of this universe. He's killed a lot of GLs, which we find out with a conversation that ABIN SUR has with Sinestro, who is, you know, a GL still. Kilowog is dead, so already that's, you know, that's a major, you know, point off of this issue, because you know, in order to be a cool GL comic, you gotta have Kilowog, because Kilowog's just awesome. But the main point of this seems to be the protection of the white entity, and that's what the Guardians send ABIN SUR to Earth to do, is to take the white entity, whatever that is, out of Earth. They figured that no one would look there because Earth is such a screwed up place, but they also think that Earth can just can just become extinct because everything is so screwed up on Earth in this Flashpoint universe. You know, it's a planet ruled by fear. So they just think, well, the hell with it. And ABIN SUR is having none of that because all life is precious to ABIN SUR. So that in itself is an interesting concept, and you know, and then it ends up with an interesting moment between Sinestro and Atrocitus. And that apparently Atrocitus has the key to the, he knows the prophecy of the Flashpoint. So apparently Atrocitus knows kind of what's going on in this Flashpoint universe, and maybe knows the key to either stopping it or whatever, or at least to explaining it, which would be nice. Anyway, aside from a few cool moments, and I have no idea who put this, is Adam Schlegman and Felipe Massafera. I've never heard of either of these people before. The art by Massafera is really good, but again, the story is just like, big deal, and leads me to my biggest disappointment, which is Secret 7. #1. This one I actually bought because I was hoping that it would be kind of a tie-in to Secret 6, which is one of my favorite DC comics right now. But this is all about Shade the Changing Man, and it's written by Peter Milligan, who did a really cool run on, the only thing that I really know him from is he did a really cool run kind of reinventing the Human Target back in the late 90s, and did some really cool work there. And it has art by George Perez, and the art, of course, you know, it's George Perez, so it's gorgeous. But apart from that, the story makes no fucking sense to me whatsoever, because I'm totally unfamiliar with the character of Shade the Changing Man, and I don't know what's going on here. I have no idea what's going on in this book. So I mean, like I said, I bought it with the intent, with the hope that this was just going to be kind of an offshoot of Secret 6, and it was going to be another group that was going to be, you know, a bunch of, you know, either, you know, since it's the Flashpoint universe, maybe it's good people doing bad things, or, you know, like in Secret 6, kind of bad people doing good things, or, you know, kind of good things, because they're not really good. But it was just, overall, these Flashpoint spin-offs are just incredibly disappointing. Or not spin-offs, but, you know, the side issues, if you will. So that's it for this segment. We're going to return with a discussion on Flashpoint #2 in just a bit. So stick around. We'll be right back.